wealth, fame, power. We have none of those, and that's just one reason why we watch One Piece. In its honor, we are going to make the best arc tier list for the best anime of all time. Let's go! We start with let's see this. This is Drum Island, Alabasta, Jaya, Skypiea, Water 7, Anise Lobby, Thriller, Bark Sabodi, Amazon Lily, Impel Down, Romance Down Start, Marineford, Post-War Arc, Return to Sabodi Archipelago, Fishman Island, Punk Hazard, Rosa Joe, Whole Cake Island, Reverie. Oh, this is the shortest arc, right? Wano, Orange Town, okay? Syrup Village, Barati, Arlong Park, Reverse Mountain, Whiskey Peak, Little Garden, and Log Town. So we will do this chronologically. First, okay, so we start with Romance Dawn. It gives us a good introduction for Luffy as well as it shrouds Shanks and the red-haired pirates enough that we want to see them showing Beckman, Yasop, Lucky Roo, but we don't really know enough about them at the start. Just enough to make us interested in them. So for now, I think I'm gonna rearrange everything later. But for now, I'm gonna put it at a solid B. Good intro, but it's really just that. It's just an intro. The first one is Orange Town. Orange Town, we have Buggy. Oh, okay. This is a definite A. Why? Because of the scene with the dog, Shushu. Because of the scene with Shushu, we see that from the get go, Eiichiro Oda and One Piece will be able to make us cry over something so small, something we would think is insignificant, but he does it so well that I literally cried watching it once, watching it the first time, and watching it again and again and again. That's what sets One Piece apart, and having it in the first few episodes is a good sign that that's what we had to expect coming into One Piece. That's what I expected, and that's what we are getting right now. That's why this, if it had a better antagonist, it would be S, but it's just buggy. It's just buggy. The next one we have Baratie. Wait, let me check. Syrup Village. No, it's Syrup Village. Syrup Village is honestly interesting. We have Kuro, a very interesting character, but the entire arc wasn't as heavy as possible. Um, it wasn't really high stakes. The fight wasn't great. It was good, not great. As I mentioned before, I think the East Blue arcs were all good, with the one great arc being something else, something I'm gonna put above later. But for now, putting Syrup Village at B. The next one would be Baratie with Don Krieg. And honestly, this is an A. I didn't think I would put it at an A, but then I remembered two things. One, we get a glimpse of how much stronger Mihawk and the other top tier characters are. It sets a bar and it shows where we want to be in the future. Mihawk does that. Something that Syrup Village doesn't. Aside from that is that scene with Jin. I think Jin is a very underrated character. His connection with Sanji, his morals, and the difference between him, Jin, and his captain Don Krieg shows. And it's a good contrast to Luffy and Zoro, who are very aligned. On the other hand, Don Krieg and Jin are very far apart. Even though Jin heavily respects Don Krieg, we don't see the respect of Don Krieg to Jin. And that scene where Zoro gets cut up and Luffy shouts in frustration after. I don't think Don Krieg is gonna do that, and the contrast between the two relationships shows, and I think that's a good reason why we put Berati at A. The next one, Arlong Park, is also at A because what the last arcs lack, a good antagonist, they have it in A with Arlong. Honestly, Arlong has the first great fight scenes with Luffy. Really, it felt like he didn't have a chance. It felt like he wasn't gonna be good enough. But then this is the time where we see Luffy just being a boss, taking everything in and still dishing the damage. Also, Arlong really seemed strong. Like Don Krieg, interesting character, smart character, but not overpowering. It doesn't seem like he would dominate, especially with how he was talking. Even though he had aspirations of going to Grand Line, Arlong didn't. He just wanted to dominate. So within that space, he felt very domineering. That's why he was a great antagonist. That's why we are at A. What is the next one after Arlong Park? Do they go to Logtown already? I guess so. Logtown. The great things here are meeting Smoker, that barrel scene, and meeting Dragon. They are more lasting arcs. If I were to put, I wouldn't say this is an A arc. I would say this is a B at most, but this is definitely better than Romance Dawn in Syrup Village. So honestly, I think I'd have to put these two down, or at least Romance Dawn still at B with Syrup Village at C. Because Logtown wasn't as good as A, but it's better than these two. So maybe this works. Okay. Do we have a Reverse Mountain Arc? Reverse Mountain Arc, it's a good C. No, wait. I'm putting this at B because this is one of the few callbacks we have. We have Reverse Mountain pre 100 chapters, I think, or around 100 chapters. Then we have Thriller Bark around episode 300, calling back to Reverse Mountain. I think for that's a big foreshadowing. It's so heavily used in One Piece, and that's the first big one that we use. Something that we didn't expect. So I'm putting it to B above Romance Dawn. Also, it just goes to show how weird the world of One Piece is. Also, it gives us an idea of the bigger world in the One Piece universe. The next first arc we have is Drum Island, where we meet my second least favorite antagonist, Wapol. But Chopper has a great backstory. Chopper is a great character. The fight scenes are just not that good enough. I would say Arlong Park is better than Rum Island. Above Reverse Mountain, maybe not as good as Lockdown. Okay, after Alabasta Arc. No, after Jump Island Arc, I think the next one is Little Garden or Whiskey Peak. Oh, I think I missed Whiskey Peak. It needs to be Whiskey Peak after Reverse Mountain. Where is Whiskey Peak? I think I remember reading Whiskey Peak. Okay, Whiskey Peak is an A1. It's an 8 year showing of Zoro, and it's also shows it's a good introduction for the Alabasta arc. Showing they showed Vivi here, but Whiskey Peak really introduces the story of the Alabasta Kingdom here. Then we get Ma Ma Ma. The fight. between the 100 bounty hunters and Zoro is the cake topper here. We don't have a great antagonist, but I think this is still a good one. Okay. Wait, why did I put Orange Town? Why is Orange Town is good? No, it's oh, okay. I remember why. But yeah, I think this is fine. Then we move to Alabasta, and I think this is common for most of One Piece fans, but the Alabasta arc is the first amazing arc of One Piece. When you get to Alabasta, there's no turning back. There's no turning back in Alabasta. We get one of the best antagonists in Crocodile. We are introduced to so many characters in Ace, in Robin, and we get to see the Shichibukais. We get to see the Marines, how the Marines interacted with the Shichibukais, how the world perceives the Shichibukais, how other pirates receive the Shichibukais, and of course, who will ever forget that X mark on the arm? One of the best scenes in in the series. Also, there's so many things we can say about this. Crocodile's fights with Luffy's honestly one of my top five fights. We have Bonchan, one of the best characters to be introduced in the series. We are introduced to the what would happen to Ace. We see him chasing after Blackbeard from here. Just from here, we already see it. So there's so many things going on in Alabasta. That ties to other arcs below, and that's one of the things that make it great. But even as a standalone, it's already a great arc. And yeah, I think this is the first one to really deserve the S spot. Now, what do we have next? I think what happens here is that we're not gonna have a D arc. Maybe we have one if we have Long Island, which I really dislike, but it's not here, so it's okay. After Alabasta arc, we see Robin in the ship. They move. They see that island with the dying man. That's when Chopper connects with Robin, stops being afraid. Then do we get to Jaya? Is Jaya the next one? I think it's Jaya. Reading. Oh, I missed Little Garden. Before Alabasta, I was too excited. I think Little Garden is good comedy and it introduces a lot of stuff. It's better than Barati, definitely. Not as good as Arlong because Mr. 3 is lacking. It's interesting in that we see so much more of the world of One Piece introducing the giants, Elbaf. Also, we get a callback to Syrup Village and Usopp Slice with the fish that poos out islands. Because that was mentioned again here in Little Garden. Okay, so going back, we have Jaya. We are introduced to Blackbeard and them. It's also a good showing of the personalities of Luffy and Zoro. The moment where they were in a bar, they let themselves get beaten up, and Nami was very distraught about why they were doing that. But I think that's a good show of control and discipline, shows their character, and the entire thing about finding the lost island, the lost city of gold, and the story of Montablanc. 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 It's interesting. At a is it bet? I think yeah. I'm gonna put it at B. there's no real big protagonist antagonists. This is one of the arcs that are really just there to introduce the next big arcs. So I think it's really just at the B. We have uh, the current, the upstream knock upstream current, and it's interesting, but we it's that's really the highlight of it. Of course, the next one being Skypea. I think this is the weakest of the major arcs. Honestly, I think it's the weakest of the major arcs, but it's still better than most. Why? We have Eneru, one of the most badass characters in the game, one of the best antagonists, one of the strongest antagonists, and really, I think they really wouldn't have got they wouldn't have stood a chance if Luffy wasn't a counter to Enru. If we have the Thriller Barks character, the latest pre-time skip characters, Zoro and the others fighting Enru, I think they still would have lost. Post time skip, that's up for debate with Haki, but of- we think that Enru would have gotten stronger by the time. So, but at the very least, that gives an idea of how strong he is. Also, he's just a weird guy, so. But everything else aside from Enru, is just a weak showing from the arc. Honestly, we didn't really flesh out Sky Island. So it's the weakest of the S ones, but it's still deserving of the S arcs. After Skypiea, we get to G7 and Long Long Island, but those are not here. So we directly go to Water 7, right? Because they're looking for a ship now because Going Merry is beat up. They go to Water 7, and this is honestly, I don't think anyone would concede this, but Water 7 is an introduction to Enies Lobby, one of the best arcs, but it's all just as an introductory arc, it's still already great. Enies Lobby being one of the best. We have drama with Robin, one of the best scenes in the series of having her scream, "I want to live," burning the flag of the world government, the fight between Luffy and Blueno, the fight between Kaku and Zoro, Sanji and the Wolf Guy, Luffy with Rob Lucci, the second best fight in the series. These two arcs, I would actually say this is just one big arc. If they were, I'm gonna put both above Alabasta, but if it's just Water 7, Alabasta is better than Water 7. But together, they are they are better than the entire Alabasta arc, including its introductory arcs. After Enies Lobby, they go right into Thriller Bark. They get lost into the fog, and I think the major arcs will all be at Enies. I'm sorry, I love One Piece. Thriller Bark is also honestly a weak arc. Why can't I put it there? Okay, the highlights of the arc: Ryuma, Ryuma and Zoro's fight, great fight. We get Brook and the callback. This is a main arc as well as an introductory arc to Brook. And who would forget that yo ho 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 and them singing Pinko Sekina na 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 na. Yes, it's an S tier, not as good as Water 7, better than Skypiea. After Thriller Bark, wait, let me check. All of these seem to be major arcs. Almost all of them are major arcs. Sabodi Archipelago. This is so traumatizing. I'm still rewatching everything, and I'm still above. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Water 7. Usopp's fight. Usopp and Luffy's fight. One of the reasons why it's great. Um, Sabodi Archipelago better than Thriller, Bark, and Skype and the Get Go. We have one of the greatest moments in the series. Luffy punching the Tenryobito gives goosebumps, and that punch was so satisfying. Also, we are introduced to Rayleigh, and definitely the traumatizing scene of Luffy having to see each one of his crewmates being sent away by Kuma. Of course, he didn't know that at the time, so that would have been very scary. Also, it's the first time we see Luffy giving an order to just run, to retreat, because this is the first enemy they got that he felt like they wouldn't win at all. So this is a big first. This is a big turning point for the series. And Luffy was sent to Amazon Lily. Amazon Lily, we go back. We got a lot of S tier ones. We move back and go to for Amazon Lily. I don't think this was a great arc. Good arc, yes. Is it better than Baratie? Let me think. This one sets the backdrop for the Marineford arc. This is one of the introductory arcs for Marineford, but we see a great character in Boa, and that's why I wanna put it higher than Whiskey Peak. Is it higher than Whiskey Peak? Also, yes, because we are introduced to Haki. Because comparing the two, it's the same. They're introducing arcs without really adding much. But even still, it already had better fights with Luffy having to fight above a sister. So okay, Impel Down. There is one big reason why Impel Down is gonna be an S tier, and that is Bon Clay. With Bon Clay being in the S tier and showing us what it means, and showing us the Okama way, Impel Down deserves the S plus. The S tier. If there was an S plus, I would still put Impel Down at an S plus, just because of Bonshan. It also it's also the first one to really bring back a lot of the characters. We have Buggy, we have Mr. 3, we have Mr. 1, we have Crocodile, we have new characters in Ivankov, we have Blackbeard. It brings back Ace, introduces Marineford, it gives us a good fight with Magellan, and it's also another case of Luffy not being strong enough yet to fight someone on his own. It also introduces Jinbei. There's a lot going on here. So it's definitely even actually it's better than Skype if I think about it. The next one, do we go ahead to Marineford? One of the best. On its own, at the time, yes, it was best. Marineford, definitely all three, everyone is here. We see Whitebeard and how much of a badass he is. This is the first arc where Luffy doesn't really take center stage. We know it. We know he's not center stage. Even when he charged forward, we know he is just a B tier character in the game. And that's what makes this great because it shows how big the universe is, the One Piece universe. Then the next one is the post war arc. This is heavy. I honestly don't want to rewatch this, but this one is more drama than anything. And I think it's very important for the character development, so I'm gonna put it at an A. I can't put it lower because of the significance of the story and just because it's different from the other stories in that it doesn't really have fights doesn't mean it's not as good. Then the returns, ah, I want to put everything at an A and an S. Actually, I feel like I'm just gonna put everything at an A and an S later. Return to Sabodi Archipelago, also great. Did I put Sabodi up top? Yep. Return to Sabodi is good and great. From here on out, I haven't really watched these. So, actually, I'm gonna stop here. Actually, I'm gonna bring back these two.
think from now on I'm gonna stay with this. So it's not unfair to these arcs. Yeah, for now these are the best arcs. Probably whole cake gonna be S. Dressrosa gonna be S. Wano definitely S or S plus. So we have this.
Okay, okay, I get it. I say everything is an S. But that's just because it's my favorite anime. Give me a few weeks and I'll go through everything and remake this video. But for now, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. More. Bye.